Yeah.
And you guys over-delivered with value. February 19th, 2009, there's an empty arena match between Kurt Angle and Sting. Maybe one of the forgotten empty arena matches because nobody talks about it these days, but it was the all-time most watched TNA show up to that point. This empty arena match with Sting and Kurt Angle drew a 1.45 rating, which meant 2.1 million viewers. This is unbelievable. Were you shocked to see that the empty arena match worked this well?
The number we were rolling, the story was there. I definitely can't say I was shocked. I was very happy and very elated, but a lot of thought went into all of this. The setup, I mean, the build, the setup, but probably most importantly, and this is what I think you and look, folks, if you're into unique kind of matches, certainly if you've seen the Lawler Funk empty arena, um, yeah, I mean, WWE's done some different things through the years, and sometimes when you fight backstage, you go into a bowler room or different things. On this, Conrad, the Impact Zone was a real positive for us to do it in this setting, and here's why. So, we produced TV down there. We did that, and when we left this till the end of the night. I'm pretty sure we left this to the end of the night, and so we legitimately these fans got to watch. I don't know, 2.5, 3 hours, whatever it was. They got to see the taping, and then we announced it, and whatever it may be. So, Conrad, the folks that were in the Impact Zone literally went right outside the studio, but outside in the queue lines, the lines to wait all around. I think there was 2 entrances about there, Conrad. We had big video screens,
Okay.
so they could watch. The people who had just watched inside could watch outside, and we mic'd the people outside, the audience.
Mm.
And oh, this will sound self-serving, but I can remember Dutch coming up to me saying, "Dude, what a call you made. What a call you made." I said, "Well, if we wouldn't have sat in that room and really thought through all this, wouldn't that?" Because our concern was the emotion of it, just the vibe and the emotion and everything that went with it. And look, at the very top of it, I've said it many, many times on here when we have TNA podcast, a dialed in, ruthless, badass heel Kurt Angle is a phenomenal performer. I mean, good God Almighty, so good. And Sting rose to the occasion as usual. And
Yep.
so they had a fight, a kick ass brawl, thought through like Kurt always did. So the execution of it all with performers, well, obviously the setup, but the performers, the the production, the truck, the audience members outside, the way it was mic'd, the way it was thought through, the way it was executed across the board, it was very, very, very compelling. Because if you go back and watch, Conrad, if I remember correctly, going into maybe break 6, we actually announced and showed the announcement and showed people leaving that you've got to leave the building for this match to take place. And we had shots of people coming down the bleachers and leaving and all this. And I don't remember exactly what it was, but I know we were capturing all kind of content. I don't specifically remember what aired, but the viewer was brought through the thread the entire way, and then we paid it off. So, love it when a plan comes all together, I guess is the short answer. But it came through, and of course, Spike was elated, because they knew we leaned into a different kind of vibe and storytelling, and it was just good TV.
It was great TV, and it kept people glued. The next week, you guys did a 1.29, and that means 1.7 million viewers. I mean, you're on an incredible run here, and we've got our main event, I suppose, for Destination X. It's going to be Sting versus Angle with Mick Foley as the special guest referee, and or he's the special enforcer rather, and you're the special guest referee. So we really load this up. Why did you like the idea of having both you and Foley be a part of this main event and make it? I know you're not wrestling, but you're performing. It's a four-man performance at that point with four big time stars.
The dynamic of the Main Event Mafia, I thought, was so well defined that the struggle, and to back up for maybe if folks are diving into this episode and hadn't really heard the buildup, the Main Event Mafia was five guys: Kurt Angle, Sting, Booker, Scott Steiner, Kevin Nash, all former world heavyweight champions.
Yeah.
And they were battling the front line, the mainstays. I don't want to call them the young guys because at this point, AJ had been around 7 years, and James Storm and Bobby Roode and Christopher Daniels. But anyway, Eric Young and others. But so that was kind of the dividing line, and me and Mick stayed in the middle. I was the quote unquote founder that was my role. Yes, it was legit, but I was the founder of the company. But that's where I was a business head, somewhat of authority figure, but I was also a we'll call it a former wrestler or a part-time wrestler or a wrestler, so still that. And Mick was too, but Mick, his platform when he came into TNA was he wanted to help the young guys and do this and do that. And his in-ring days or full-time in-ring days were behind him. But we were both kind of in a quandary with mixed emotions that we knew we needed the Main Event Mafia to be successful. Just the stories, and that's how we told it. And obviously the people were compelled and really into this. And so we thought we could tell the story better with me being a ref and Mick out there, and knowing that Nash and Booker and Steiner loomed. And you also had, okay, where are the AJ Styles and Daniels, and how are they going to factor into it? Booker and AJ had their deal going on, and it was just I think it checked all the boxes week in and week out. And when I look at those numbers, and this is something that I tried to do a quick search on and couldn't really find it. We're on Spike, certainly not a top 5, not even a top 10 network. No disrespect. I think we're top 25 network. So the network average of Spike was definitely not 1.7 or 1.9 million viewers. So we were exponentially higher. They were very, very successful numbers.